Welcome back to Talk of the Town. Mark Winn, attorney at law, is back this month to continue on the topic of estate planning and ways to direct and protect your inheritance. Mark, welcome back to the show. Such important information. We talked a little bit last time about inheritance and how to protect it. Let's talk a little bit more about how children won't lose their inheritance. In other words, how it stays, the property stays in the family, not being lost due to a divorce, a bankruptcy, or such a lawsuit.
Right. So the short answer is you work with an attorney and you direct that the attorney leaves assets of yours when it goes to your children in trust. So that's the short answer. We can elaborate on that. But you leave it to your children in trust, meaning it goes to them pursuant to the terms of a trust that they control, perhaps for their own benefit. And under South Carolina law, if you do that, then the assets are protected from all lawsuits except for the Internal Revenue Service if you owe taxes or child support. So that's a biggie.
So talk a little bit about that, in trust.
When people are engaging the services of a lawyer and they're directing where property is going to go, they have a choice of whether it goes to a person free of trust or in trust. Free of trust is how most people without legal counsel would just say to my kids, equal shares. But if they inherit it free of trust, they can lose it in a lawsuit, they can lose it in a divorce. It's not guaranteed to stay in the family, and it's subject to the estate taxes. And there's no, so that's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
So if you want to leave it in trust and make sure that the child won't lose it in a divorce, won't lose it if they're a doctor in a lawsuit or something like that, it won't be subject to the estate taxes in their estate, and it'll stay in the bloodline, well, then you leave it in trust. And I have articles like this on my website. You just type Mark Winn into Google and you see, I have a website with articles on it. People can look into it.
And also they can contact you.
Or they can call me, of course. I offer complimentary initial consultations. Been doing it for more than a decade down here.
Yes.
So it's a good way to do it.
Yeah. It's an important topic. It's an important topic. We live obviously in an area where, the mean age is a little bit older, and there's probably people that are unprotected. What about, what happens if you don't have a power of attorney?
Legal proceedings, costs, headaches. So a power of attorney is really, everybody should have. These are more important now than ever with the aging population, and we want to draft powers of attorney in a way so that it avoids abuse. There's a lot of abuse. There can be abuse in terms of exercising powers that are favorable to the agent, to the exclusion of other people. So you have to carefully craft the powers of attorney for that. Second big issue with powers of attorney, general powers of attorney for finances, is carefully crafting a structure where the agent, under some circumstances, has the authority to do Medicaid planning for the principal. If you have a parent, let's say, and they're disabled, and you need to get them into maybe try to get government benefits to pay for their care that costs $7,000 or $8,000 a month or more.
Okay.
Well, then you need to have the authority to do that, and the power of attorney needs to spell it out.
Okay.
And we typically say that they can do these kinds of things if they act with an attorney, and also if they comport with the distribution scheme set forth in the estate plan.
Wow. Do you have any examples of what you're dealing with right now that
Such as?
Such as?
Oh, right. Well, we do have a client who his wife didn't sign a general power of attorney. She became disabled. We're representing him, getting him to be the guardian and the conservator. And it's going to work and everything, but it's taking months. It's expensive, and they're not all legal fees. A lot of them are other fees.
Right.
And so that's an example of something that could easily have been avoided, and I wish we had been able to avoid it. I mean,
yes.
We try to avoid problems for our clients. We really just try. It's kind of like golf. We live in the low country, so we want a low score. We don't want problems. We want to.
Right.
We want everything to go as smoothly as possible.
And the paperwork end is probably it's probably difficult for you and for, I mean, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of energy.
Well, there's a lot of explanation. I mean, the biggest part of my job, I was joking with my assistant yesterday. I said, 80% of what we do is explaining what we do.
Explaining what you do?
I mean, it's funny, but, that's what you do, because you're making sure that people understand what you're doing for them, why it's important, how it's going to help them, why it's necessary, why it's advisable, the pluses and the minuses. And that's where the counseling comes in.
And really, people need to start thinking of that at around my age, even younger.
Well, I mean, they should think of it if they have children.
Yes.
They should think of it if they have children. They should definitely think about who the guardian would be, conservator. People have some people have large life insurance policies. These are things that can be left in trust to benefit the family for generations. So we're here to help people for that.
Mark, thank you so much.
Thanks.
And we will have all that information on the screen for people to contact you. And thank you for that great information.
Thanks.
And we will be right back with Talk of the Town.